Hello everybody and welcome back to LMM, and if you like what you're seeing on the channel at the moment, how about helping us out by clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm stood near a roundabout in the middle of Wroclaw in Poland to take a look at art, which isn't normally something that we do here. But the subject of today's video is something, well, a little bit different. It is the train to heaven. And this is a statue made by Andrzej. Well, I can't pronounce his surname, but it's coming up on the screen now. And it features a locomotive once owned by PKP and that was previously stored at the Museum of Industry and Railways at Yalazina, which is somewhere that I have been previously. The statue itself is this behind me, and it is an impressive 21 meters high and weighs 82 tons. And it is the biggest sculpture in Poland. As you can probably see, the thing has been set upright, directed up into the sky. The idea behind it was that of a locomotive, a steam engine going to heaven, a tall machine that could transport a person across time, destinations and the impossible. Now, the original idea for this came about way back in 1994, although at that time it was merely put onto canvas and the painting known as the Train to Heaven was created. The actual statue wasn't actually created until 2010. Now, as impressive as this might look to you and me, when he was asked in an interview after completion, Andrzej said that he wished the tracks had been longer and he wanted to have a laser installed on the locomotive shining up into the sky. And around here he also wanted trees to have been planted at certain angles so it looked like the whole thing had a certain energy and dynamics to it. The idea being that the locomotive had been moving at great speed and erupted from the ground, sending the trees spiralling and skywards, which hasn't quite happened. The initial inauguration of the statue was quite the spectacle, with sounds of steam announcing the locomotive's arrival and departure into the sky, with light shows along it showing its new purpose. And today it represents 16 years worth of work between the artist, Wroclaw itself and Archicon, who are the patrons of the sculpture. The locomotive used in the installation is known in Poland as a TY2. This exact one is number 1035 of 1944, built by Ornstein and Koppel, and it is one of 7,794 that were built for the war effort by Germany and German occupied countries. Germany designated it the BR-52, and it was one of 3 main classes of Kriegslok, war locomotives. Now, the exact figure of how many Kriegsloks were created is unknown, but it's thought that German occupied factories churned out something in the region of 15,000 of these machines. The reason behind it was simple. They were designed to be quick and easy to build and not to use too many materials. They were very powerful and had a surprisingly low axle loading of only 15 tons and were fitted with a well-insulated cab, allowing them to operate in extreme cold. After the Nazis fell, as part of the war repatriations, many of these engines were given to affected countries. And for instance, places like Bosnia were still using them when I visited way back in 2015. And here in Poland, things like this were still being used well into the 1990s. The Polish have a wonderful way of designating steam locomotives. T means freight, and Y refers to the 210-0 wheel arrangement. So TY2 makes sense. They actually had their own designation for the locomotives that were built here in Poland, built after the war from leftover components, and they were the TY42s. 42 being the year the design was finalised, and T and Y having the same logic as before. Now, the engines built in Poland were designed for the Eastern Front, and as such, they weren't expected to have a very long shelf life. And because of that, many were built of a modified design comprising of an entirely steel construction. The use of ferrous, more expensive metals were dropped based on the fact that nobody expected them to last even to get to their first overhaul. Obviously, the one behind me here has been stripped of almost everything that is useful for future work on other locomotives. You can see the cover of the dome is missing, all of the wash-up plugs have been removed. In fact, anything that anybody could take off it has already been taken, both for having store at the museum and also to encourage people not to climb up and to borrow stuff. However, Even without its cladding, it remains one of the most striking landmarks and the uses of a locomotive that I have ever seen. And whilst I was in Wroclaw, I just had to come and see it. But now, a question for you guys to debate in the comments. Does this count as railway preservation? I mean, the thing is safe, it's not likely to be scrapped, and it's going to be kept and have a certain amount of upkeep for the foreseeable future. So talk that amongst yourself. And with that, thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed seeing us do something a little bit different, looking at railway art. It's not something that's going to be a regular feature, but you never know what we'll do. If you have enjoyed this, how about clicking somewhere over there for some of the other videos that we've done on railway stuff? And with that, thank you very much. If you haven't already, how about subscribing and give us a like? Do widzenia. See you later.